Voiceover, warm, authoritative, and conversational tone. What if I told you that the single greatest predictor of your lifespan and health span after the age of 60 isn't your cholesterol levels, your blood pressure, or even your family history? Frustrated by feeling a little weaker each year, by the jar that's harder to open, or the stairs that feel just a bit steeper? You're not alone. But the real story isn't just about getting older. It's about a silent epidemic that affects up to 50% of people over the age of 80, and it starts decades earlier. This epidemic is called sarcopenia, the progressive loss of muscle mass and function, and ignoring it is one of the biggest mistakes you can make for your long-term health. But here's the bold promise. By the end of this video, you will be armed with a delicious, powerful, and scientifically backed grocery list of 5 specific foods that act as a suit of armor for your muscles, protecting your strength, your independence, and your future. Voiceover. We've been taught to fear wrinkles and gray hair, but the far more dangerous sign of aging is happening silently inside our bodies. It's the gradual erosion of our muscle tissue, the very engine that powers our lives. Think of your muscles as your metabolic armor. They don't just lift things, they regulate blood sugar, support your joints, protect your bones, and even influence your immune system. After the age of 50, we can lose muscle mass at a startling rate of 1 to 2% per year, and that decline only accelerates after 60. In fact, some studies show a shocking 30% to 50% loss of muscle mass over our lifetimes, which is a devastating blow to our vitality and can dramatically increase the risk of falls and fractures. But here's the twist. This is not an inevitable sentence of aging. It's a condition, and like many conditions, it can be fought, and it starts not in the gym, but on your plate. Before we get to our 5 muscle-saving heroes, you have to understand the battlefield. Why does this happen? The primary culprit is a phenomenon called anabolic resistance. Imagine your muscles are a construction site. In your youth, when a truck full of building materials, that's the protein you eat, arrives, a team of enthusiastic workers immediately gets to building and repairing. But as we get older, those workers become a bit lazy. They need more convincing to get started. That's anabolic resistance in a nutshell. Our muscles become less responsive to the signals from protein that tell them to grow and repair. It means the 20 grams of protein that powerfully stimulated muscle growth in your 30s just doesn't have the same effect in your 60s or 70s. Your body literally requires more protein just to achieve the same muscle building response. It feels like an uphill battle. But wait until you see the secret weapon hidden in our first food that directly counteracts this resistance. Let's pause for a second. Think of one activity you absolutely love. Is it gardening, playing with your grandkids, traveling? Now imagine that activity becoming difficult or even impossible due to weakness. That feeling of losing your independence is the real problem we are tackling today. It's not just about vanity or biceps, it's about quality of life. The risk for losing physical independence skyrockets when muscle function declines. A study found that while low muscle mass increased the odds of losing independence, low muscle function or strength had a much greater impact, increasing the odds by over 6-fold. It's a sobering thought, but it highlights why what we're talking about today is so critically important. Now, I want you to make a commitment to yourself. Comment yes down below if you've ever felt that frustrating twinge of weakness and you're ready to fight back. This isn't just a video, it's a community of people dedicated to aging strong. The problem gets deeper. This anabolic resistance is compounded by other factors. Hormonal changes, a natural decrease in physical activity, and even low-grade chronic inflammation all conspire against our muscles. It's a perfect storm that can lead to a vicious cycle. You feel weaker, so you move less. You move less, so you get even weaker. This spiral doesn't just end with needing help with groceries, it dramatically increases the risk of falls, long hospital stays, and a loss of the very freedom we cherish. One study even found that older adults with sarcopenia have a 2-fold increased risk of mortality, even after accounting for other chronic conditions. This is the 30% of the video where we stare the problem in the face, but now it's time for the solution. The most powerful secret to fighting back is understanding a concept called the leucine trigger. Leucine is one of the most important amino acids, the building blocks of protein, and it acts like the foreman at that construction site, yelling at the workers to get moving. As we age, we need a higher dose of leucine to trigger muscle protein synthesis. And our first food is an absolute powerhouse of leucine. The real secret to turning this all around starts right now. Our first muscle protecting powerhouse is Greek yogurt. Now, I know what you might be thinking: yogurt, that's it? But we are not talking about the sugary, fruit on the bottom stuff that's more of a dessert than a health food. We are talking about authentic, strained Greek yogurt. And here's why it's a non negotiable part of a muscle centric diet. A single cup of plain Greek yogurt can pack up to 20 grams of high quality, easily digestible protein, but the magic is in its incredible leucine content. Remember that leucine trigger we just talked about? Greek yogurt delivers a potent dose, effectively flipping the switch for muscle protein synthesis that gets harder to turn on as we age. In fact, research from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that a high protein yogurt snack improved muscle protein synthesis and reduced muscle breakdown in healthy older adults. This isn't just about adding protein, it's about adding the smartest kind of protein. But there's a critical mistake most people make when choosing their yogurt that can completely undermine these benefits. You must become a label detective. Walk down the dairy aisle and you'll see dozens of options. The key is to look for two things: high protein and low sugar. Many Greek style yogurts are just regular yogurt with added thickeners and a shocking amount of sugar, which can actually increase inflammation and work against your goals. Your target should be a yogurt with at least 15 grams of protein per serving and less than 10 grams of sugar, ideally even less. Choose plain, full fat, or low fat versions, as the fat can help with the absorption of fat soluble vitamins and keeps you feeling full longer, preventing unhealthy snacking that can lead to weight gain and further muscle loss. The full fat versions often have a better texture and taste, meaning you won't need to add a lot of sweeteners. A real world example is my client Brenda, a 72-year-old who was struggling with fatigue. We swapped her sugary morning cereal for a bowl of plain Greek yogurt with berries and a sprinkle of nuts. Within a month, not only did her energy levels improve, but she reported feeling stronger during her daily walks. The difference wasn't just calories, it was the quality of the protein and its ability to signal her muscles to repair and rebuild. So don't skip this aisle. The game-changing second food we're about to discuss is just around the corner, and it works on a completely different pathway to protect your muscles. What if you're lactose intolerant? This is a common hurdle, but it's not a dead end. For many, Greek yogurt is actually easier to digest than regular yogurt or milk. The straining process that removes much of the whey also removes a good portion of the lactose. Furthermore, the live and active cultures, the probiotics, in yogurt help to break down lactose, which can make it more tolerable. But if it still doesn't work for you, a great alternative is kefir. It's a fermented milk drink that is also packed with protein and is exceptionally rich in probiotics, often containing a wider variety of beneficial bacteria than yogurt. It can be a fantastic option. For a non-dairy alternative, some fortified soy yogurts can offer a good protein punch, though you must check the label for protein content as it can vary wildly. The key takeaway is to prioritize that dense source of morning protein. So many older adults have protein-poor breakfasts like toast or cereal, which misses a massive opportunity to stimulate muscle synthesis after the overnight fast. A study noted that many older adults who ate 30-45 grams of protein at 2 or more meals were stronger and had more muscle mass than those who didn't hit that threshold. Starting your day with a protein-heavy hitter like Greek yogurt sets the stage for a muscle-protective day. Our second food that shields your muscles comes from the sea: fatty fish, specifically salmon. While Greek yogurt provides the direct building blocks, salmon comes in with a different superpower: its profound anti-inflammatory properties, thanks to its high concentration of omega-3 fatty acids, EPA, and DHA. Remember how we talked about low-grade chronic inflammation being one of the co-conspirators in sarcopenia? It's like having a constant low-level alarm blaring in your body, and this state of alert accelerates muscle breakdown. Omega-3s act like the calm, cool-headed negotiator that shows up and tells that alarm to shut off. They help to create a more favorable environment for muscle growth and repair. Research has shown a direct link between omega-3 supplementation and improved muscle health in older adults. One study published in the journal Aging demonstrated that omega 3s actually increase the rate of muscle protein synthesis in older adults, even at rest. And when combined with exercise, the effect was even more pronounced. The benefits don't stop there. Omega 3s do something remarkable. They appear to directly combat anabolic resistance. They do this by sensitizing the muscle cells to insulin and amino acids. Think of it like this: omega 3s grease the wheels of your muscle building machinery. They make the cell membranes more fluid and responsive, so when that truck full of protein, amino acids, shows up, the workers are not only willing, but they're more efficient at unloading the materials and putting them to use. A meta analysis of multiple studies confirmed that omega 3s could significantly improve lower body strength and performance in older adults, key markers that predict functional ability and independence. Most people miss step number 3, which is all about our plant based champion. But first, let's talk about the practical side of salmon. How much do you need? Aim for at least 2 4-ounce servings per week. The best preparation methods are those that use lower heat, like baking, poaching, or steaming, which helps preserve the delicate omega 3 fats. Overcooking or deep frying can damage these beneficial compounds. And what about wild caught versus farm salmon? Wild caught salmon generally has a slightly better ratio of omega 3 to omega 6 fats and a lower overall fat content, making it the superior choice if it fits your budget. However, farmed Atlantic salmon is still an excellent source of omega 3s and is a perfectly healthy choice. The most important thing is simply to get it into your diet consistently. Now, for an unexpected case study, I worked with a gentleman named Arthur, an 80-year-old former carpenter who was incredibly frustrated. He was doing his resistance exercises, but he wasn't seeing the strength gains he expected and constantly felt sore. His diet was decent, but he wasn't a fan of fish. I convinced him to try incorporating baked salmon twice a week. We didn't change anything else about his routine for 6 weeks. The results were astounding. He reported not only feeling stronger in the gym, but also having significantly less joint stiffness in the mornings. This illustrates a powerful concept. Option A, just exercise, is good, but option B, exercise plus targeted nutrition like omega 3s, is where the magic truly happens. The omega 3s were likely reducing his background inflammation, which not only helped with his joint comfort, but also created a better internal environment for his muscles to respond to the exercise he was already doing. It's not always about working harder. Sometimes it's about giving your body the right tools to make the work you're doing more effective. Don't skip ahead. The game-changing tip for our next food comes at around the 15-minute mark of this video. This one is especially important if you're on a budget. So far, we've covered a dairy powerhouse and an ocean champion, but what if you're looking for a plant-based, budget-friendly, and incredibly versatile option? That brings us to our third muscle-protecting food, lentils. Please do not underestimate these humble legumes. They are an absolute workhorse of nutrition and a fantastic weapon against age-related muscle decline. One cooked cup of lentils delivers an impressive 18 grams of protein and 16 grams of fiber. That fiber is a secret weapon. It helps manage blood sugar levels, preventing the energy spikes and crashes that can lead to fatigue and poor food choices. Stable blood sugar is critical for maintaining an anabolic or muscle building state. But you might be thinking, isn't plant protein incomplete? This is a common myth that needs clearing up. While it's true that most plant foods are low in one or more essential amino acids, it's incredibly easy to overcome. The concept of needing to combine specific proteins at every single meal is outdated. As long as you eat a variety of plant foods throughout the day, your body creates a pool of amino acids to draw from. For lentils, simply pairing them with a whole grain like brown rice or a slice of whole wheat bread over the course of your day provides all the essential amino acids needed to build and repair muscle tissue, effectively creating a complete protein. Let's talk about method comparisons. Canned versus dry lentils. Dry lentils are incredibly inexpensive, have a long shelf life, and give you complete control over the sodium content. They just require a bit of rinsing and simmering. A big bag can cost just a few dollars and provide the base for dozens of meals. Canned lentils are the champion of convenience. They're pre-cooked and ready to be tossed into salads, soups, or stews. If you choose canned, Here's the troubleshooting tip: look for no salt added versions, or at the very least, rinse them thoroughly in a colander under running water. This one simple step can remove up to 40% of the added sodium, making them a much healthier choice. I want you to try this now. Next time you make a pasta sauce or a soup, reduce the amount of ground meat by half and substitute it with cooked brown or green lentils. You'll be boosting the fiber and nutrient content of your meal significantly while also reducing the saturated fat and cost without sacrificing the hearty texture or the protein. Comment lentil lover if you're going to give this a try. The beauty of lentils is their sheer versatility. Red lentils cook down quickly and are perfect for thickening soups and making creamy purees or dals. Brown and green lentils hold their shape better and are fantastic for salads, pilafs, and veggie burgers. You can even find pasta made from lentil flour now, which is a brilliant way to turn a traditionally carb heavy meal into a protein and fiber powerhouse. Think about the implications for your weekly budget and your health. Swapping out a few meat centric meals for lentil based ones can free up money in your grocery budget while providing your body with high quality protein, essential minerals like iron and folate, and gut healthy fiber. A longitudinal study that followed older adults for 3 years found that those with the highest protein intake lost 40% less lean muscle mass than those with the lowest intake. Incorporating foods like lentils makes hitting those higher protein targets both affordable and delicious. The real secret for our next food is debunking a decades old myth that has held so many people back from one of nature's most perfect foods. This comes right after I share this crucial tip. This brings us to one of the most unfairly villainized foods in history, and it is our fourth secret weapon for protecting your muscles: the humble egg. For decades, we were told to fear eggs because of their cholesterol content. Thankfully, extensive modern research has largely debunked this myth for the vast majority of people, showing that dietary cholesterol has very little impact on blood cholesterol levels. What we now know is that eggs are a nutritional powerhouse, practically a multivitamin in a shell, and they are especially critical for older adults. A single large egg provides about 6 grams of very high quality bioavailable protein. Its amino acid profile is so perfect for human needs that it's often used as the gold standard for measuring the protein quality of other foods. But the story gets even better. Eggs are one of the best dietary sources of that nutrient we talked about earlier, choline. Recent research has linked lower choline intake with reduced muscle mass and strength gains in adults over 60. Choline is vital for the health of our cell membranes and is a key component of acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter that is essential for sending the signals from our nerves to our muscles, telling them to contract. Better nerve signaling means better, stronger muscle function. Think about the connection between your brain and your muscles. It's not just about the size of the muscle, it's about your brain's ability to activate it efficiently. Choline supports this crucial line of communication. A fascinating study published in the Journal of Nutrition even linked regular egg consumption to a lower risk of developing Alzheimer's dementia, an effect that was partly explained by the higher intake of choline. So when you're eating eggs, you're not just feeding your biceps, you're feeding your brain and the nervous system that controls them. Now, for the interactive prompt, how do you like your eggs? Scrambled, fried, poached? Let me know in the comments below. It might seem like a simple question, but bringing a food like eggs back into your diet with confidence can be a huge step. A real world example is a couple I worked with, both in their late 70s, who had diligently avoided eggs for years. After we reviewed the current science, they started having 2 eggs each for breakfast 3 to 4 times a week. The husband, who had been experiencing some cognitive fogginess, remarked that he felt sharper and more focused throughout the day, a benefit that can be attributed, at least in part, to the incredible nutrient profile of eggs, especially choline. Now for the troubleshooting tip: how do you buy the best eggs? Walking into the supermarket can be confusing with terms like cage-free, free range, and pasture raised. While all eggs will provide that core protein and choline, if your budget allows, pasture raised is generally considered the top tier. These hens are given ample outdoor space to roam and eat a more natural diet of grass and bugs, which can result in eggs that have a higher content of omega-3 fatty acids and vitamins A and E. However, don't let perfect be the enemy of good. Standard conventional eggs are still an incredibly affordable and nutritious choice that far surpasses a sugary muffin or an empty calorie breakfast pastry. The key is to eat the whole egg. The yolk is where you'll find the majority of the nutrients, including the choline and healthy fats. Fearing the yolk is a relic of outdated nutritional advice. Most people miss the incredible importance of this next food, our fifth and final one, especially when their appetite is low. Our fifth and final food isn't really a food, but a powerful strategic tool, a high quality protein powder. Now, before you dismiss this as something only for bodybuilders, hear me out. For many older adults, one of the biggest challenges to getting enough protein is a diminished appetite or difficulty chewing tougher foods like meat. This is where a high quality protein supplement can be an absolute game changer. It is the easiest, most efficient way to ensure you are hitting that crucial leucine trigger at every meal, particularly if you're struggling to eat enough whole foods. Research has shown that whey protein, which is rich in leucine, is particularly effective at stimulating muscle protein synthesis in older adults and can help counteract sarcopenia. Using a protein powder isn't about replacing whole foods, it's about fortifying them. Let's compare our options. The most common type is whey protein, which is derived from milk. It is a complete protein, is rapidly absorbed, and has the highest concentration of leucine, making it incredibly effective for stimulating muscle growth. If you have a dairy sensitivity, there are excellent plant-based options. Soy protein is a complete plant protein and has a robust body of research supporting its muscle building capabilities. Pea protein is another fantastic choice, also rich in essential amino acids and generally very easy to digest. A micro solution you can try immediately is adding 1 scoop of unflavored protein powder to your morning oatmeal, your Greek yogurt, or even blended into a lentil soup. It will disappear into the food, instantly boosting the protein content by 20-25 grams without you having to eat a larger portion. This single act can turn a meal that was just okay in protein into a muscle synthesis powerhouse. This is particularly crucial for the breakfast meal, which is often dangerously low in protein for many seniors. Here's what to look for on the label when choosing a powder. This is a retention spike that many people miss. Don't be swayed by fancy packaging. Turn the container around and look at the ingredient list. It should be short and simple. The first ingredient should be the protein source itself, e.g., whey protein isolate or pea protein isolate. Avoid powders that are loaded with artificial sweeteners, fillers, and a long list of unpronounceable ingredients. A great rule of thumb is to look for a powder that provides at least 20 grams of protein per serving, and ideally, you want it to deliver about 3 grams of leucine to effectively trigger muscle protein synthesis. This strategy of fortifying your meals with a clean protein powder can be the single most effective way for an older adult with a poor appetite to meet the elevated protein needs required to fight off anabolic resistance and preserve their precious muscle mass and independence. It bridges the gap between what you should eat and what you can eat. So let's bring it all together. We've unveiled the silent enemy of sarcopenia and the challenge of anabolic resistance. But more importantly, we have armed you with a powerful arsenal of 5 foods to fight back. The leucine-rich Greek yogurt to kickstart your day, the anti-inflammatory salmon to create a pro-muscle environment, the budget-friendly and fiber-packed lentils, the brain and muscle-boosting egg, and the strategic high-quality protein powder to ensure you always meet your targets. Your path to aging with strength and vitality is not a mystery. It is a choice you can make every time you sit down to a meal. The power to protect your muscles, to safeguard your independence, and to build a stronger future is, quite literally, on your fork. Now for your final mission, should you choose to accept it. First, don't let this knowledge fade away. To put these foods into action, watch our next video. The 3 best exercises to pair with a high-protein diet for maximum muscle after 60 for the ultimate 1-2 punch against sarcopenia. Second, this was a lot of information. To make sure you have it when you need it most, at the grocery store, save this video to a playlist so you can refer back to the step-by-step breakdown of what to look for in each food. And finally, if you are committed to this journey of aging powerfully, subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell. Because in our next video, we are going to reveal the 3 healthy foods that are secretly destroying your muscles after 60. And trust me, you're not going to want to miss it. Thank you for joining me, and here's to your strength.